but I realized that we really just should have moved on from yesterday. I think this deck was like just so clearly teeming with potential, incredibly fast, incredibly like powerful. And like I just don't want to stop working on it right now, and I want to like really figure out feel like I have a great build to put out there for y'all. RC season's coming up. I want to hammer this one out. Let me read this at chest cold open real quick, and then I'll talk about the changes and about the deck in general. So, what's up? It's me, your one and only friend who will never betray you, the one person you can trust in this cold, dark world, Aspiring Spike, and welcome to my Shark Typhoon. Today, we're going to continue working on my incredible creation, a Naduless Nadu. Will more trophies land fall into our laps? Can we endure against the insidious designs of our enemies? Will this be the zenith of our MTGO career? Will I ever stop asking rhetorical questions? Stay tuned to find out. Please like, sub, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So the big thing here is I think the Wall of Roots is a better accelerant in this deck than Flare of Cultivation. Flare was good yesterday, but I think that one, I really wanted to have more early plays, more 2-drops. I wanted to make the Chord of Callings good. Wall of Roots is also just kind of sick in this deck with Nissa, where you can go turn 2 Wall of Roots and then play Nissa, then fetch land. Like that curve, I think is really important. Wall of Roots also is going to give us extra early game blockers against energy, which I think will potentially just like buy us that extra time in the matchup. And I think that it'll improve the energy matchup too, which is something that we were 1 and 2 against that deck yesterday, and it seemed like we needed a little bit of extra help. To some extent, Fungus in the main deck as a way to like kill main deck bombardment seems kind of nice. And I think especially now that we're really in on Chord of Calling, the Fungus makes a lot of sense, where you can just kind of get it cheaply for one end of turn. This is going to make you better against Amulet Titan. It's going to be able to answer Goblin Bombardment, and it also just explores. It also just, draws a card, puts a land into play. So like the downside of drawing this is really just not so low. I'm also up to the full 4 Veil of Summers. Kind of simply put, Dimir is very popular. We did not lose to Dimir yesterday, I believe, but it just kind of seemed like I really wanted to play more Veil of Summers because Dimir is so popular. So let's like just crush that deck for a little bit, I think. Could maybe cut the 4th Veil, but I just wanted to play the full 4 copies for right now. Also, like moving the Fungus to the main deck opened up a sideboard slot, which was nice. I also decided to, once the Flare of Cultivations got cut, I decided to add the second Hedge Maze over the second basic island, which I think makes sense. Kind of missed the second Hedge Maze, want the same number of blue fetchables, but I don't think we need the extra basic now that the flares are gone. Anything else? I think that's the main thing, but okay, so let's start with the deck in general. So Naduless Nadu is not clickbait. It is very weird, but the deck plays a lot of the same cards, and it is kind of weirdly the same deck, but with just Risen Reef over, I guess maybe Risen Reef Nissa over Shuko Nadu. It's kind of a weird dynamic here. But you just kind of get to a point where you either like bestow Springheart on Risen Reef, and then you're making a ton of copies, and you're churning through your deck that way, or you're going infinite with Titania, Sylvan Safekeeper, Risen Reef, and a landfall creature. And just the fact that this deck has so much card selection, so many creature tutors, so much card draw, so much mana acceleration, it was pretty good at doing that thing yesterday. And in matchups where our opponents have a lot of interaction for us, we were pretty good at just, outvaluing our opponents too. How does this deal with Bowmaster? Well, this deck doesn't draw. I guess now we draw 1 card off Insidious Fungus. You have Sylvan Safekeeper to. So what is Orcish Bowmaster in this against this deck? It's basically a Terminate that can only kill 1 toughness creatures. It's worse than Lightning Bolt against you. It's that card is not very scary. It's it's not Bowmasters is not particularly good against us. It's not particularly bad either, but it's like a Lightning Bolt is better than Orcish Bowmaster. We do not care about the 2/1/1s. This is the only way in the deck that draws a card, I guess. It's fine. Now that there's no room for flares, the argument to play Woodland over Forest. I don't think so. I would play Simic Growth Chamber as a utility land, but I just want more fetches and fetchables still. Okay, opponent is very intimidated here. Kerbo's 11 months. CPB with the 6. Thank you so much. Risen Reef does not draw. It reveals in a similar way that Nadu did. The land enters tapped, unlike Nadu. How many sideboard slots are dedicated to Blackbird matchup? Well, we have the 4 Veils now, I guess. That I did actually consider playing Offshoot, though the 1 mana 0/3 that gains 3 life on landfall. I don't know. Maybe they have a deck that they're testing for the RC that they don't want leaked or something. This is not the modern channel in the sense that I'm here to just play stock modern decks every day. My like stated purpose, my stated goal here on twitch.tv/aspiring spike is not to just play existing modern decks over and over and over again, and it is to brew and to innovate and to give you new deck lists and new crazy stuff. This week, our decks have been Restore Balance, Lantern Control, Aetherworks Marvel, and this deck have been the big ones. And I'm here to give you new, fresh, innovative ideas every single day. And I also maybe broke modern, so we'll see. Initial Bird, the 14 months, Zach's Fair at the 49. Thank y'all. Hope y'all are doing well today. Can we go on the Arbor? What RC are they testing for? There's a modern RC that's starting like next month, right? Initial Bird 14 months. The Cabal is working against you to make sure no trophies are real trophies. I guess so, yeah. The Valakut Crime deck was good. But you'll basically never see me going, all right, what's up, guys? Today we're playing Stock Boros Energy. It's just what I felt like playing today. That's not. I just can't do that. I got to do something more interesting. All right, so they're playing Grixis Frog. They pitched a Force. Could be something else. I'm sure they have Frog in their deck. The Prog RC's on 2 weeks. Yeah. Okay. Grazer's kind of fun against second Frog. Make them discard 2 cards. Okay, happy enough to keep this and just Green Sun for Risen Reef this turn. And we can maybe go Green Sun for Nissa next turn. And then Landfall trigger. Maybe they have a third Force of Negation and another blue card. Does have third Force of Negation. Let's go. I don't know. Let's hope they don't have a fourth. If they do, they may have to discard down to 1 card. Maybe that last card's like a counter spell that could be bad. Obviously, we're blocking. They discard an Oculus. Discard a Bloodstained Mire. Could have cast the Oculus. Instead, we've got a dead Arboreal Grazer. We cut the flares for Wall of Roots, which I think is just going to be the better card for our deck. Does anyone know if the lag is better? I wonder if our opponent's lagging today. So either they're lagging or they don't have Counterspell as their last card, right? Because if their last card is just Counterspell, they're just passing the turn really quickly here, I think. So what could their last card be that they're thinking about? Not a removal spell, because they would just, like, I guess if it was Bowmaster, they would Bowmaster the Dryad Arbor. If it was Fatal Push, they would probably push the Dryad Arbor now. Unearth? Yeah, the thing is, if their last card's Unearth, surely it would have already been cast. So I feel like it's probably just lagging. We can't really read too much. Is it snow? No, it's raining. It was supposed to like maybe snow last night, and then it obviously didn't. Okay, I guess it just lag, as we've confirmed here. Maybe debating playing a land. Yeah, that could have been it. Could have been it. So now we get to go Green Sun for Nissa, Landfall Nissa, maybe find a Risen Reef. If you're playing this in a Paper Pro Tour event, do you think the Odor or Boseiju loops are the best win con or Craterhoof optimal? The Craterhoof has been good. There have been plenty of times I've just won the game because I had a Craterhoof in my deck. That I won those games even outside of the combo. The Boseiju Order War loops may be better. I'm honestly really scared to play those loops in Paper though, because it's if your opponent just makes you do it, you draw the match. Your opponent, you're almost just effectively offering your opponent a draw when you do the Boseiju loop thing. This 2.0 mean List is good. List was really good yesterday. Pretty scary. I think we've got some upgrades here. Also, the skill ceiling in this deck is really high. Jeff, the 21 months. Thank you. Welcome back. Still going to get the Nissa. You're allowed to call a judge if your opponent refuses to accept the loop. So judges, they're going to rule that it's like a deterministic thing. Because like it's not like deterministic because you have to like exile a different green card from your deck each time. Like how do you can you really just say I can you actually shortcut the loop? I remember like people said you could last time. I always felt like it was very sketchy that people said that because you have to exile a different card each time. You have to draw all of these cards. It's not exactly just like a one-to-one loop. I don't know. Maybe it was something that maybe that is the case, but yeah, I'm not exactly sure how different it was. Yes, because it's absolutely deterministic. Okay. Were judges always like even like aware of that? Because I know sometimes judges get a little confused. Deterministic if you bestow an endurance. Yeah, maybe. That's right. I guess you could do that here too then. Yeah, so maybe it's better to do Besagio Odawara if you just set up to bestow on endurance. So I guess this is not a creature. I guess there's not really a creature that could have flipped up anyways. They fly the frog, taking a hit of 7. So next turn, their frog can be 6 power. 6 plus 4 is not 10. So we're going to try not to crack our fetch, potentially. Sorry, if we were to draw a fetch. Not that we did. And not that we have anything going here, really. The fact that we get the counterspell out of their hand here is kind of nice. Because this means that we could crack a fetch land next turn. A land is going to be a win for us. The best draw here is easily a land. Tantrum for the 12 months. Thank you. Welcome back. You would need Spelunking or something. No, you would not. You wouldn't need Spelunking because you could just get Lotus Cobra. The last card's not persist, I hope. Taking 8. Archon persists pretty good here. We're dead. Let's go ahead and see if we would have drawn the land. We would have drawn Fungus and then into Safekeeper, so we would have bricked. Veil of Summer's coming in. The third Force of Negation. I guess I want all these Endurances too against the Persist build. It's a lot of cards, maybe over sideboarding to bring in 7 cards. It's got the Fungus. You got the Cobra against the potential Bowmaster deck. Might not have it. Oculus does have flying, yeah. Try something like this, I think. It's a little bit weird. Yeah, you could 61, honestly. I'm gonna keep this. We have 25 more lands in our deck. We're pretty likely to hit a second copy. If we don't, we do have Green Sun. We could potentially go next turn, Wall of Roots into Green Sun for Dryad Arbor, into Hold Up Veil on their turn. Looks like we're going to get to do that. Yeah, the big change today is that we're really in on Wall of Roots. I just think Wall of Roots is better than Flare. Now that we're so in on Chord of Calling, and it's also just good with like the curve into with Nissa because you get to go Nissa fetch land on 3. It gives you extra early game blockers against energy. I've enjoyed Isla Quarian with Nissa because she always seems to grab me another piece of the combo. Yeah, I mean that's something to test. I think I just don't love adding 5-drop and then 1-drop that only works with 5-drop. What do you think about Path Deck Sub Modern good versus Oculus? It's close to unplayable. There are so many better white removal spells in the format: Leyline Binding, Prismatic Ending, Oust. I feel like I'm missing like 2 or 3. Solitude. I'm not very into Path Exile. Splashing a color and playing Fatal Push. There's not many excuses to play Path Exile. Nice pickup. Korean rebuys lands for extra land drops. That is not much, but it is something for sure. Fable of the KEKW. If I reveal a land, I'm going to put it into my hand so I can cast a Risen Reef. Number 3. Yeah, put that into my hand. Got double endurance up against their Reanimator plan. Yeah, Dryad Arbor sure has gotten good, huh? I guess I just probably main phase, go ahead and grab Sylvan Safekeeper so they can't remove anything. Could also Chord for 2 on their turn. I think they just get the Safekeeper. They could have Spell Piercer Force, but that'd be also okay. Might make them force on my 0 mana spell. Morning, y'all. Morning, Simon. Yeah, I think Wall of Roots is better than Flare. I think that was the big change from yesterday to today. Toxic Deluge, Death on the Radar. Hope not. I think it has been more popular lately. Yes, the big thing is Wall of Roots over Flare. We're also main decking the Insidious Fungus. So because we went +3 Wall of Roots, -4 Flares, +1 Fungus. Thought about playing second Cobra, decided against it still. In one Hinterland Harbor over the second island. I think there was maybe one more change. But I just really want to work on this one. I feel like this deck is this deck is very special, I think. Do you think this deck is a good matchup against Eldrazi, Aetherworks, or Lantern to restore balance? Probably the Aetherworks Marvel deck. And probably also both, actually, because you have a lot of Force of Vigors and Collector Ouphes and stuff. Although balance is very good against us. Do you think splashing white for Sun Cleanser if Wrath gets popular, or the anti-sack card? Nadu played to beat all his dust. Yeah, I mean, those are options, of course. Those are options. I don't know that the Sun Cleanser is necessarily better than something like Selfless Spirit. Could be. It just doesn't always get the job done because like if they solitude your Sun Cleanser, you're cooked. You could have put Misty in your hand. It was your last Reef trigger with 2 Nissa in hand. Yeah, I'm not exactly worried about not being able to trigger Nissa next turn with me having these Endurances to trigger the Reefs. So I think it's just better to have more mana. Also just draw a land, I guess. Thanks for looking out, though. What's better than 3 Risen Reefs? Alright, there she is. There he is. Alright, so I guess we lead on the Titania, since if they counter that, I want to Endurance it back in. So once we find a Chord, Green Sun Zenith, or Sylvan Safekeeper, we are effectively deterministic here. Was Mockingbird for more Reefs a consideration? No. We have plenty of Reefs here with Nissa, Nissa, Green Sun Zenith, Chord of Calling. And we don't need any more Reefs. Especially not one that's only a Reef if you already have Reef in play. How do you cast Ouphe when you draw it? So this is you just make 8 mana by hitting lands off of your Risen Reef. And then if you run out of cards, you just Endurance to shuffle cards back into your deck. Also, I boarded out the Lotus Cobra, but you have a Lotus Cobra that sometimes helps you accelerate extra mana here. And that's kind of like the Nadu loop you got. Oh yeah, we also have Nantuko, kind of as a better Mockingbird. That's true. Okay, let's go to game 3. Not 100% sure about my sideboard plan against like the Grixis persist build. I think we need all 4 endurance and all 4 veil. It's crazy you can still build a deck like this with Nadu banned. You know, one thing too that maybe is a little bit understated is like this seems to be the only. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems to be the only creature combo deck you can play in Modern where every combo piece is tutorable with Green Sun. I don't like you can't do it with Brood-Scale, you can't do it with Yawgmoth, you can't do it with Soul Trader. I think it's just this one. Dadbot GG with the Twitch Prime. Thank you, welcome back. I think I'm gonna mulligan this. Pretty borderline. Now I wish I had kept the 7. Keep the 6, I guess. With regrets in my heart. Is when I turn a creature combo deck. Not really, but it also doesn't get you can't get all your pieces of the Green Sun. Oh, Amulet Titan, sure. Yeah, I guess so. It's a little bit different, maybe, but also maybe not. Okay, that's a good pickup. Isn't Sunwise combo all green? No, you can't get Viserys or Cauldron Familiar. How did you cook that? I want to see the face you did when you put it all together. This stack, it took me 6 months of various landfall piles. For a long time, I was really in on Springheart Nantuko, on Lotus Cobra. I was in on Emerald Medallion. I had some small Storm Elements sometimes. I went through a lot of iterations of this deck, and then it was like 2 nights ago, I figured out the Safekeeper Titania loop after trying Green Sun Zenith in these shells, and it really just kind of came together after that. Tomio plus looting, maybe? Is it fair to say you discovered the Temur Eldrazi ramp deck? No, I didn't. I think I've pioneered every Eldrazi variant except for that one. So I'm gonna be I think so, I'm pretty sure. In fact, I've been talking a lot lately about how I just kind of wish people would work on different Eldrazi builds than that one, because I think there are better ones out there. We 5-0'd with the Godfarer's Gift build. I don't know if that one's necessarily better, but like no one's working in that one. The mono blue Eldrazi deck is sick. I think that mono blue and Magus of the Candelabra, I think both have just like so much potential. I'm just interested in seeing both of those. Shifting Woodland is I would play Simic Growth Chamber as another utility land, but I would just play more fetches and fetchables even beyond that. 1 copy of Scapeshift in my deck, maybe side deck. Explain to me why you would want it, and then we can talk about it maybe. To me, it seems like there's not really any reason to play Scapeshift. I'm gonna go ahead and pay and make a Dryad Arbor, which triggers Landfall here, which is fun. Can't quite Chord for Endurance, I guess, but that may be okay. The Tomio is also getting pretty close to ultimating, I guess. Maybe I could attack it for 1, but then they could still ultimate it. How do you think Colorless Tron with 4 Chalice could work? It could work okay. Play Sire of the 7 Deaths. Well, tough mulligan. I think I'll concede to that. Maybe I should have kept my 7-card hand. So it was 5 lands, Green Sun, Nissa. So you go Arbor into Nissa. If your Nissa dies, you have nothing. We'll keep it over any 5-card hand, probably. Alright, let's keep this. Tiles Provision has 2 toughness, alternative for Lotus Cobra. I mean, I think Cobra is still better because it's 1 less mana. Bill is not better than Hoof, I think, either. Just way too slow. And also, like, Hoof just wins games that, like, games that you're not comboing pretty often, surprisingly. Invasive Surgery in the board for the control matchup. A lot of people have been suggesting Delirium cards in this deck, like Shifting Woodland. This deck is not very good at getting Delirium, especially now that we've got the Rumbles. I think Control is also just not a big enough part of the metagame share for me to really want to play a lot of sideboard cards for it. Turn 4, Risen Reef to Scapeshift as a second way to play game 2, 3 if Springheart was exiled. Well, Nantuko being exiled is not a problem. You should never play Scape Shift in this deck. It doesn't really make any sense. If I would just, another Sylvan Safekeeper would be better. It's really just to counter as a sorcery. I mean, Invasive Surgery is not a card that sees a lot of play, even in Delirium decks. Maybe it should see more. I feel like I would play like Negate or Unified Will or something like that instead. It's on a Mold of 5. You talked yesterday about not wanting to play utility lands. But would a windkinless version of the deck with Naduless be better than Hoof and Paper? Maybe. I think it's close. Like Hoof has been good, even like just to have access to, even beyond just your combo loops. So it's kind of hard for me to say. I think I'm pretty sure we wall of roots here. Something like Heroic Intervention sideboard if you expect a lot of Pyroclasm and Wrath Disguise. Maybe. It's something we can think about. I would be more likely to play something like Selfless Spirit, probably. Even if like the rules are that like you can demonstrate this deterministic loop, like say you have Safekeeper, Titania, Lotus Cobra, Nissa, and you're doing the loop and you're explaining it to your opponents. I feel like especially like right now with this deck is not a known quantity, like I would just be really worried about an opponent who like makes me do the loop and then calls a judge when I try to shortcut, and then the judge just doesn't understand that it's deterministic because it's so complicated. And then you just lose. and then you just like you know what I mean? So I would be worried about that happening. I don't know how rational a fear that is. But that's my concern. Is this Nadu actions? Yeah, this deck has been shockingly similar to Nadu Mingu. It's been pretty good too. Kind of like KCI, yeah, maybe. So for now, I would just play the Hoof, but I would be, thinking about other options. Okay, interesting that they're just solituding this main phase after they've mulled to 5. Is Moto amazingly lagging for me too? Yeah, it's been not great. From your deck yesterday, went -2 Forest, -1 Wall, -1 Catacombs, -1 Heath, +3 Foothold. Why are you telling me about the other green fetch lands you're changing? They're exactly the same. Come on. +1 Safekeeper, +1 Loomer. I really liked in games. Loomer won a couple games. Could you make it like a case for Loomer? I know the card is kind of complicated. I don't like that we can't like loop it with like the land that copies like Amulet Titan does. Okay, so that's why they main phase, because of the Overlord. Now the Flares in the deck anymore with actual Dorks be better than Grazers. I don't think so. Like I think the Grazers just like block really well against energy. They tap for Chord of Calling. They give you landfall triggers. The case is Lammer Sweet. Well, I need more than that. Or Loomer Sweet. But I also don't like cutting that many fetchables. I like the density of fetchables that we have. They have main deck Containment Priest. Like what situations has Loomer been good for you? What did it win you games that you wouldn't have won otherwise? That's kind of my issue with Lumra. To me, it doesn't really seem like putting Lumra in your deck is going to win you a single game that you would have lost otherwise, right? But I'd love to be wrong about that. But we drew Nissa. Dauntless Escort is a green Sentinel Selfless Spirit. Nice tech. The opponent is playing main deck Containment Priest, which is good against my hand. Okay, I can court for the Safekeeper probably. Could win next turn. I feel like you say I'm gonna win on this board next turn, and like most people in chat are gonna be like, huh? I guess anyone who didn't see the deck yesterday is gonna be like, what? Oh no. Okay, they return a Recruiter of the Guard. They do have a Solitude in their hand. Not that that matters very much. Brought back all the lands with Nissa in the field. 2 Reef 1 time. Wound up filling up my hand, pull triggers another time just with Nissa, and let it trigger again, and got me mana for the Reef, where I proceeded to go off. So, do you feel like it was necessary in going off? Because, like, this is a 6 mana card. You know what I mean? So, I'm a bit worried that this is a card that you don't need in your deck to combo off, and it sounds to me like could Titania not have done it in that situation? Could you have also just got Craterhoof anyways and won? Does Loomer fit? Loomer might be good. I just want to be very critical of putting like any 6 mana spell in my modern deck, of course. I feel like it was Nissa found it off the fetch. So you couldn't have done this loop here. Is it maybe good just because like, well, like it doesn't necessarily seem that good like if you don't have Safekeeper plus Titania. Like is it good when you have like a one Reef instead? Like what are you doing with these lands if you don't have like the resources? Could Finale be alternative Craterhoof? I'm pretty sure Craterhoof is better. You actually just like chord for it for 0 mana a lot of the times, weirdly enough. Loomer is an elemental, so it triggers Risen Reef 1 time. I just really want to be critical of the 6 drops. I want to make sure it's like it's not going to be a win more card, but it could be correct. Yeah, I know the title Naduless Nadu seems like such clickbait, but no, it is just. More importantly, it can be found off Nissa. I mean, that's a synergy, kind of, but it's also like. I want to hit Reef more often. I want to hit Titania a lot of the time. Like, you know, are you going to hit it on turn 3 and then you have a 6 drop that you can't cast? To me, I don't actually know that the fact that it can be found off Nissa is that important. Getting pretty close to just courting for the hoof. I need to have a lot of creatures in play. I guess if my plan is to court for hoof, then maybe it is good for me to cast the Nantuko, because I can get just a lot more creatures in play really quickly. Any changes to just guy looting? Yeah, I don't like since I played the deck. I don't think all these main deck force negations are good anymore. So, I'm not exactly sure how I would change it, but that's kind of my impression. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11. Let's keep going. We can't really lose. I'm just trying to make sure I use as little of my clock as possible. Oh wait, they have the Solitude. I have the Safekeeper, right? Okay, but now we've drawn the Craterhoof. Now we have to get the landfall triggers. Is Moto running better today? It does not seem to be. It does not seem to be. Does anyone know if they've said anything online about the lag? Can I have the list? Yes. If you type !deck in the chat, a link will pop up with the deck list. So one more landfall, we just cast the hoof. Oh, we could bestow on Craterhoof Behemoth. Let's not do that to any opponent. It's kind of evil. They claim it's client side, which is not true. Yeah, I mean that's definitely not true. That's hilarious. Unbelievable that they would say that. If they have Solitude, well, they have to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 Solitudes to get through my Sylvan Safekeeper. They actually do have Solitude. Kind of scared of that Containment Priest. How bad are the roads going to be tomorrow? I don't know. Hopefully not that bad. I don't even know what just happened. Yeah, there's a lot going on here. Is Ponder too good to be unbanned? Would it make Delver of Miracle or Miracles playable? It would probably break Tomio. I mean, Tomio. I don't know. Tomio's very fucking good. It would be about the same with Ponder. It would be better with Ponder. I don't think Ponder would break Modern. I don't think Ponder is a good unban either because people just take too long to resolve that card. That's my issue with Ponder. It's not the biggest deal ever, but I would prefer to not unban it just because of how long people could take to resolve Ponder. Rashik with the 42 months. Thank you. Welcome back. Not a fight I really like to fight too much. If you're a Ponder fanatic, it would be not the worst unban. Ponder is too good for Modern, in my opinion, because of the fetch lands. Maybe, cantrips are also kind of just unplayable. Like Preordain is close to unplayable. And, you can play Consider and Thought Scour to power out your graveyard creatures in, when you're playing, Oculus Unearth decks. So, in some ways, they're more so graveyard enablers than they are cantrips. Or I should maybe say, that's the reason why you're playing them. You're not playing them for the card selection, especially not Thought Scour. But just actual card selection cantrips very rarely are correct to play in your Modern deck. There's just so many incidental ways to smooth out your draws, especially with Surveil lands in the format, that you it's just rarely correct to put them into your deck. Ponder maybe is high enough power level to see to see a lot of play in Dimir and stuff. But it's not even clearly the case. Yeah, hopefully we don't have the Felia Containment Priest thing. Played just guy looting a locals max. I thought was too many forces. Think about another pending main, some other interaction, maybe sync or subtlety. You don't want to play sync into the super in your really all in Flage deck, I think, but you could if you wanted to. It's kind of stings to lose the other Surveil land here. Maybe I save this to bestow. I mean, it's just basically never living. Would it be a hot take that Consider would still be better than Ponder because of graveyard synergy is more important? I don't think it'd be a hot take. I genuinely Dimir clearly wants to play Consider over Preordain. The fact that it's an instant is also really relevant. It would be close. So there's always this weird tension with banlist cards where it's there are plenty of cards with the ban list that wouldn't break the format, but they're also they wouldn't necessarily be fun or good either. Ancient Stirrings is a staple, so is Rumple. They're just very high power level cantrips. Yeah, I mean, it's also a little bit different too, right? Where Stirrings is much better than Ponder in the decks that can play it. It's hilariously better than Ponder even. And Rumble is cancombination cantrip, ramp spell, graveyard enabler. So I wouldn't really even call Rumble a cantrip, but yeah, Stirrings is playable. I mean, they're cantrips see a little bit of play. Yeah, the lag is really bad. This is such a bad time to be playing this deck too with all the lag. What are you gonna do? So it's a philosophy thing. I think when it comes to what you want to ban, what you want to unban. There's the Felia. Yeah, I might just get Felia Containment Priest. Power level Ponder might be fine watching opponent tank while trying to decide the order before shuffling. It sounds awful. Yeah, Ponder is right in the awful zone for paper tournament Magic where they cast the Ponder and then 30 seconds pass and you're they need to resolve this Ponder faster than this, but it's still not enough time for them to say anything, and then you get to right on time, Wall of Roots. And then by the time they it's 1 minute's passed. If you say something and you're hey, you need to resolve that Ponder faster. If you say that, then they go, oh, I'm sorry about that, and they break their concentration, and then it takes them another 30 seconds to resolve it. It's just it's so hard to get around this this dynamic. Did you ever manage to work on Green Sun Effect list, or decided it wasn't worth it? I had a friend who built it and played it and said they 4-1 to league with it, and I was like, great. I don't know that I ended up being that interested in playing it myself. Arkham's Astrolabe, Deathrite Shaman, Tybalt's Trickery, Second Sunrise are example of cards that would not be too strong for the format, or just way less fun to play against. One of these cards is not large. I don't know. Tybalt's Trickery is pretty gross. That card just says you cast Emrakul turn 3 every single game. So they get a Skyclave Apparition here. I think we're not going to beat this on the draw. I think I'm actually just going to go ahead and grab a Collector Ouphe. Maybe, I guess if Fungus is better because I could just cycle it if they're not on Vial. Tybalt's Trickery says, I cast Emrakul the Aeon's Torn on turn 3 every game. Which is, I don't know, that's pretty good. Although I guess on turn, it might just be, that might not be that good. Might be kind of glass cannony. I'd love to see you brew Green Sun Infect with Violent Urge. Yeah, that's when you, as soon as you realize Violent Urge is a card you're interested in, you can just, like, this is something I kind of realized a long time ago with Infect. Prowess is just better because the creatures just hit twice as hard, you know? Like, Infect creatures have to deal half the damage, but Prowess creatures just hit twice as hard, and you get to play higher card quality, better colors, just everything is better. It's kind of crazy. So this hand is okay if my Nantuko lives and I get to Chord of Calling. I think we'll keep on the strength of Surveillance here. Although it actually could be correct for me to get Dryad Arbor and then bestow Nantuko on Dryad Arbor, and this allows me to make a lot of lands, and it also allows me to play around Bowmaster. It's a fun line. Let's take it. Spike in the chat. Moto has a Discord channel where you can put the game ideas of lagging. Well, I'm not going to do that while I'm on stream. It's also every games. I don't exactly understand how this is supposed to help, but if it helps, it helps. But I'm not going to be doing that on stream. So this line did not play around Fatal Push very well. I'm a little too Dryad Arbor brained. I don't think we had seen a Fatal Push yet. Still Solitude. Alright, let's maybe not play into the Bowmaster, though. Could be just like we're too far behind, but... Been seeing these black-white decks a lot, has been putting up results. Yeah, they've been putting up a little bit of results. Seems okay. It's nothing to flicker. Wonder if I should just try to Endurance the Felia. We'll see what they do. An Aether Vial. So I could go Spring... Okay, no, not drawing this. Yeah, the problem is that they Bowmaster my Nantuko in response to the trigger on the stack that I can't chord for Safekeeper. So I think I'm just going to try to cast this Endurance. I like the Satoro version. Yeah, Satoro in these decks is pretty cool. Do I want to shuffle Dryad Arbor back into the deck? Oh, no, probably yes. The Arbor has been really good. It actually could even be correct to play a second copy, funny enough. Now, this is my only Endurance. I guess we could bestow on the Endurance if it lives. So how would you bait this attack into Endurance and paper? I guess you just act like, my Arbor. I needed the Arbor to do anything. No second push. Let's go. Yeah, I don't know. I've been really seriously getting into the idea of taking acting classes to better bluff on Magic Online. Or at paper tournaments, rather. I just have to maximize my win rate. Sorry, I didn't mean to make a second blue. It's okay. Do you need a little bit of help? Everyone's pretty flooded here. Well, my Safekeeper is dead now, and my Endurance is in play. So in order for me to combo, like, super deterministically, I'll need to, like, bestow on the Endurance and shuffle the stuff back in, but I can also probably just value them this game. Spike angle shooting. I think trying to... In fact, what's kind of frustrating, this is an interesting conversation, because I think, like, facial expressions and acting, it's a big part of paper magic. It's a big part of bluffing. It's important to be able to do this stuff to, like, get some extra percentage points. And I think it's fun, too. And I actually did get angle shot at the Atlanta tournament over the weekend. And I was also kind of, like, trying to convey physical tells that I feel like worked off. So what happened was my opponent has a 3/3, a 3/3, and a 1/1. I am playing Dimir midrange and standard, so I have 4 mana up. And my opponent is tanking a long times on their attacks. And it seems like they're clearly thinking about playing around Enduring Curiosity or not, to see if, because they don't want their 1/1 to get blocked by it. And I am doing my best to give, like, physical tells that I don't have Enduring Curiosity in my hand. You know, I'm just trying to have, like, slumped body language. I'm trying to look uninterested in the board. And I'm trying to get them to attack with the 1/1, kind of subconsciously. And so my opponent does say, they go attack with 3/3, attack with the 2/3/3s and the 1/1. They say attack. They put the creatures forward, they said attack. Then I move. Then I get out of my slumped body language. My body language, like, clearly changes. I'm about to cast a spell. And then he goes, wait, don't attack with the 1/1. And it was very frustrating. I called the judge, and the judge ruled in their favor that they didn't have to attack with the 1/1. And I don't know. I felt like I got angle shot in that moment. I thought about appealing. I didn't think the appeal would go my way, probably, so I decided just to say no. Yeah, I did win the match, but I think I lost that game because of that line they took too. I think that I ended up losing to it. So I guess we'll respond to the surveil here with the fetch. So yeah, I don't know. Do you think I would have won the appeal? I didn't think I'd win the appeal. If that's something you don't like, you know, we're just, you know, not ideologically aligned on this issue, I guess. That it is a super different thing. I understand that it's maybe sounds kind of weird, and it kind of sounds similar and kind of sounds, but it just really isn't. Honestly, it's angle shooting if you aren't playing with your hands face up. Sorry, honestly, it's angle shooting if you aren't playing with your hand face up. Could you expand on that? I don't even know what we're talking about anymore, but we could be, you could be not ideologically aligned, but maybe I'm getting one guide a little bit. It was sarcasm. Well, how can I tell this? I didn't even okay, maybe it was clear to everyone. I didn't understand what that means. Hands face up. Graveyard's a bowmaster, so this is not creativity. I guess the Verdant Catacombs. Ooh, no. At least I don't have more Misties in my hand. T-Dog, 7 months. Thank you. Welcome back. What do I play in the RC 2 weeks? I have too many exams to grab Moto. I like the green-white birthing ritual deck a lot. This deck is also seeming to be maybe a breakout one, which is kind of why I want to be working on it. I think Karma got back when they attacked all of the SIDEBOARD. Yeah, maybe. It's okay, you know, it's... I called the judge didn't rule in my favor, it is what it is. Is pretending to tap your creatures for Convoke like Chord angle shooting if you don't have a Chord in hand? Yeah, I think that's over the line. I know about the pin trick, y'all. You think I don't know about the pin trick? You think I've never heard of the pin trick? Honestly, if they didn't have any more info other than a change in body language, then it's the same set of rules. If they had additional information, like you put a spell on the stack there and go shooting, and judge a mistake. Yeah, I mean it's okay. I think this is it's a little bit weird. There's a lot of nuance. I think I mostly disagree, but I agree that it's kind of a weird situation. I think I play the fungus because they only have 2 cards. Like if they removal spell, I get punished for this. I think it's a little bit different. I think the fact that like they said I attack and then they're taking it back because information has changed effectively. That's to me why I feel like it's over the line. But I do agree that it is a weird situation, and I think if you're on the other side of the thoughts here, that's okay. Was LSV at the PT a couple years ago? Angle shooting. I thought it was a little scummy. I don't know. I think it's under the line. It's a conversation. I don't feel really strongly about the. If we're not talking about the pin trick, are we? We're talking about where he grabbed the token. It matters if they tap the creatures. 2 of them had vigilance, and then one of them did get tapped. Yeah. Ooh. Guess we do that first. Like, I don't think I would do the token play, but I'd feel like it's also not one of the more egregious examples. I guess I can sack the Misty Rainforest to Sylvan Safekeeper here. But listen, you know, I called the judge didn't roll my favors, nothing more you can do, you just move on at that point. Oh, I don't get my token anymore. Just because of Shroud. Yeah, they realize the same thing. Yeah, maybe I should have just grabbed like another reef or something, huh? Dang. It'd be okay. Going through a sideboard, you don't have a card like Wisher Karn. Yeah, it's similar to like looking at your graveyard when you draw Snapcaster. I think tapping your creatures like you have a Chord of Calling when you don't have one, that feels over the line to me. It's like you're taking an illegal game action, like you're casting a spell basically. So we get Titania here and win the game. No amass. Yeah, the Orc Army ping got countered, so they don't get to amass the token. Am I still Unmarked Grave Gamer? I think it's viable. Now that they have added Faithless Looting to the format, I'm off Unmarked Grave. I've been kind of off Unmarked Grave for a little while. Oh, right, there's the needle on this Misty. I should have got back to Verdant Catacombs. Should be okay. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and cast this second. Well, okay, if we cast the second reef, we have to find another Chord of Calling actually, and we only have 2 more in the deck. So it's probably it might be better for us to dig for Nissa or Lotus Cobra or Green Sun instead, because that's just a lot more cards. That being said, it doesn't exactly seem like this is going to be a super duper losable game, even if we brick, so it's probably another reason to do it this way. Okay, there's the Nissa, so now we play out the Nissa, then we'll try to make just if we can hit 2 more lands, or potentially maybe Green Sun for Arbor. Just thinking about other hits here. Okay, they pack it in. Slap Tuesday, the 20 months. Thank you. Welcome back. Love you too. I think there's a build of Jaeger combo with looting. I've looked at it a little bit. I've looked at it with Green Sun a little bit. Not exactly sold, I guess. Okay, so we're playing a Jund Saga. How is tapping creatures different from tapping islands when you don't have counterspell? Because you can always tap islands, right? Like, you're always allowed to tap it on tap lands. That's a legal thing to do. You can't always tap your creatures. I think it's a conversation. I think it's good to have these conversations. I think it's good to be able to disagree about this stuff, you know. It isn't that serious of a thing overall, of course. Wits with the 31 months, spray with the 9. But that to me, that would be the difference, right? Okay, usually cut the Cobra against the Bowmaster deck. We'd cut a Grazer. Keep in the Fungus, I think. I don't think I want Veil on the draw. Maybe could have Veil on the play. I don't know if I want Force of Vigor. First one could be okay. I think I actually just want more Endurances. They're like a Nethergoyf. Let's play with the first Force on the draw. What can we cut? Kind of like cutting the fourth chord against these interactive decks, where if you just draw, if they have removal and you draw too early and stuff. Is there a combo? Yeah, it's very innocuous, the combo here, but you are just able to loop through your deck if you have Safekeeper, Titania, Risen Reef, and then Landfall creature lets you make mana along that loop. You also have some loops that involve bestowing Springheart Nantuko on Risen Reef and just millions and millions of like landfall triggers. A lot of times you do that until you assemble the rest of the loop. So there is actually like a deterministic infinite combo in the deck. And then we're winning right now with Craterhoof. You could potentially loop Boseiju, Otawara, and then Boseiju all their lands and Otawara all their permanents. Can't do that on Magic Online, especially not with the lag. I consider MTG very much like poker. Body language and tells are part of the game. That's the game in a way that text on the cards are not. It's honestly boring if it's just math statistics on the cards sometimes. As another way to play the game. I agree completely. I think it's fun. I think it's interesting. I also think like you have to have body language and tells and like physical bluffs be part of the game. Like there's no way to be like, you can't bluff with your body language. You can't try to give off bad tells. You can't try to read your opponent. You know, and it's like if you're not playing the game, like your opponent is maybe just reading you, you know. So it just is a part of the game, you know, whether or not you're into it. Yeah, client lag it seems even maybe a little bit worse today. And maybe the servers are literally on fire. What hay pieces would be good against this deck? Torpor would be pretty solid. Sweepers are good. Plague Engineer would be on Elemental, be pretty good. Raybell, the Twitch Prime, thank you, welcome back. I want to expand my playstyle to try a new deck. I traditionally play Grixis, Tempo Control, occasionally some Flavor of Storm. I want to try a new style of deck, develop my skills, understanding the same as a player. What deck archetype should I experience with? I mean, that is kind of up to you, right? I think like choosing your modern deck and what archetype to get into is can be very fun and very personal. I think of decks that to branch away from that, you could look into an Eldrazi variant, a Titan variant. You could look into a spell-based combo. Could look into a deck like this. You know, honestly go through the Mox field and take a look at something. Yeah, Cage is good. Flare of Cultivation ended up not being good enough. Flare was good. I just think Wall of Roots is better in the deck. So if we had Flare here, we would have flared the Arbor, and then we would have cast Endurance next turn. The Wall of Roots is also going to be very good. What is the most playable control style in Modern? I think the real answer to that deck, or to that question, is the green-white Birthing Ritual deck we've been playing. That deck is just a control deck, and I think it is a very good one too. The name of the Sylvan Safekeeper, not so bad. Maybe we're doing pretty well. Also, like Eldrazi decks are kind of control decks, which is, you know, is that a conversation people are ready for? I'm not sure. Is Jeskai Wizards dead? I don't know. Well, we could maybe look at Wizards some more. It certainly doesn't seem like Wizards is a very good deck at the moment. So the problem with we had this Jeskai looting control deck we were doing well with, but we were largely doing well with it because like it made a lot of sense to be really in on like Force of Negation and this tap out control shell where it was just like really cool. You could build a deck in a way that was where Force of Negation was just incredible for you. Force of Negation is getting worse and worse with like Energy and Frog just rising more to dominance. People are just playing less and less spell-based decks. Creativity's falling off. The like uptick in Rhino seems to now be downtick again. So it seems kind of difficult to want to be like this tap out Force of Negation control build, which again is going to make it tough to play that build again. You don't attack with these Nethergoyfs. Come on. I think Ruby Storm is pretty underplayed. I would say that it's good. Mono Blue Belcher is probably the most underplayed deck in Modern. So if y'all want like a really good, safe, off meta choice for the RC, take the Belcher deck. You know, just basically pre BNR. Okay, I don't want to click done because that is continuing without choosing a target. If creature-based strats are on the rise, that means traditional Jeskai list should be good again, right? Yeah, maybe. I mean, I think that like Wrath the Skies, Jeskai could just be good again. Although the thing is, you kind of have to figure out like so we were playing the looting build because we're not exactly sure what the best card advantage engine in that kind of shell is, and so looting deep analysis, is this something that you would want to do just in a more normal list? Maybe not. We can look at it. Okay, so I guess we save the Green Sun for the Reef, and then we save the Nantuko for the Reef also. Someone knows if WotC is doing something to fix the lag. So Magic Online is not managed by WotC anymore. It's managed by Daybreak Games. And so far from what we've heard, they've been saying the lag is not on their side, which is just not true. So I don't know what the hell is going on. Looting is better than Fact or Fiction. I mean, there's a few cards that are better than Fact or Fiction. Like Fact or Fiction is worse than Memory Deluge, Brain Surge. It's maybe even worse than like Gifts Ungiven in your Flage deck, but it might be better. Maybe worse than Expressive Iteration. Maybe better than Expressive Iteration. What do you take here from opponent? I would take the Green Sun, probably. I don't really feel like there's... I don't think it's that possible for there to be any card in their hand that makes Green Sun not the right choice. I said Fact or Fiction, but meant Gifts Ungiven. If you can figure out like a really cool Savine's Reclamation pile, then Gifts is something you want. Pansy with the 7 months. Thank you. Welcome back. Yeah, they knew that the Green Sun was on top, so they have to take the Nantuko. Because the software engineers worked on online CCG, I can say that there may be some services that aren't owned by Daybreak creating a lag, which would technically be true. Yeah, I'm sure it's not like there's a button in there that they got to push, but you know, Magic Online's a very fragile thing. Serene's Wreck is way worse without LED. I don't know. I mean, LED's never been in this format, so it's not ever something I've thought that much about. Savine's Underworld Breach Mox Opal Grinding Station. He's pretty good. The Mox Opal is like a little weird because if you're just playing it like in a Jeskai control deck, you're not going to have the Metalcraft, but it certainly seems like a start. Okay, let's see what we hit off the Nissa. Okay, so if I go Green Sun for Safekeeper, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I can just get the loop going. Oh wait, they have the the needle. So I guess we'll just value town them a little bit. You can play EE or Bobble also. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think we need to get Fungus right now. I think we just draw infinity cards instead. Yeah, I think Magic Online is sick, obviously. You know, this is not something that's happening all the time. I'm sure this will get fixed. Savine's Oculus Unearth Faithless. Seems less powerful. Also, like, Flage kind of just needs to be in, like, a lot of these files, too, I think. Can we not be a Birthing Ritual deck in this list? I don't think this is a good Birthing Ritual shell, necessarily. It could be. Could be. Seems like I'd rather play Chord and Green Sun. We can play the Wall of Roots out because it's mana neutral for Chord, but I think it's better to just save it as a green card for Endurance. So I wonder how bad it is to get Fungus without the mana to activate it. Plus is okay. I think they're basically dead. I think you're basically dead too. GG's. Okay, so we have 4-1 the last 2 leagues we played with this deck. We made some updates today. We're in version 2.0. See if we can 4-1 the 3rd league in a row with the deck. How do you think this deck compares to Yogg and Titan? That's a good question. I'm still trying to figure that out. It is still kind of early. One thing I like about this deck a lot more than Yogg is that Green Sun Zenith gets all of your creatures, which I think is really cool. This deck also compared to Titan is, I think, less weak to hate cards that are being played right now. Like, you don't really care about Blood Moon very much. You don't really care about Force of Vigor. You don't care that much about removal because you're so in on Safekeeper. You're pretty good against like commonly played cards, which is nice. It is slower than Titan. It's about the same speed as Yawgmoth. I guess that's the end of the comparison, maybe. We are aware of reports of increasing lags in the past 24 hours. The team is investigating. We will update you if we know more. Yeah, they'll figure it out. Could an Orm's Chant to Fairy Blue White list be worth looking into? I think it's worth looking into. People seem to do well with those builds. I need to get around to adding Orm's Chant somewhere in the 75 of the Green White Birthing Ritual deck too. It seems like just good. Like, since we're trying to assemble Eternal Witness Ephemerate loops. Typically, I just try to assemble Ephemerate, Eternal Witness, White Orchid Phantom, Ranger Captain, Skyclave, Apparition, Thraben Charm, whatever is appropriate. But Orm's Chant is maybe just also a good tool to have access to. I mean, it should be. For green-white, is it better than Damping Sphere since it's good versus those decks? Yeah, it could maybe just straight up get swapped for the Damping Spheres. What are the best decks you've had post-bans? I think green-white Birthing Ritual is great. This deck has been good. I think that it's probably between these two. I think the Aetherworks Marvel deck we played is good. I think the mono-green Eldrazi with Magus of the Candelabra is... I think that might be the best Eldrazi deck. I think like one thing about these Eldrazi decks, everyone just plays this build, the Teamer build. But when I've been playing Mono Blue and I've been playing Magus and I've been playing the God Pharaoh's Gift build, I'm beating this build. Also with Aetherworks Marvel, that build was good. But the thing too is I beat this build with those builds very consistently, which makes me think that people are potentially just building the archetype wrong. You don't like Teamer Breach? Teamer Breach is good, but they're asking about decks I've been playing. I haven't been playing Teamer Breach. What's the worst deck I've tried post-ban? You know what? I built a Paradox Outcome deck, and I said the whole time, this is for fun. This isn't going to be good. It just seems like a blast. And then I saw someone online go, I'm never trusting Aspiring Spike again. So now I can't build fun decks anymore. Well, we lost to Grixis. Grixis Persist this league. Do you think it's too cute about Sylvan Safekeeper and Flagstone and Green-White Ritual? It's a good look at it. Yeah, I blame Panda, actually. Well, maybe if I had played Panda 75, I would not have lost a match. I just really wanted to play Arayo. The Fleshmaker Breach deck looks strong. Yeah, that deck's good. That deck's good too. Okay, getting Kozilek's commanded, not the best. Got a good hand to rebuild with. How have the Delirium decks been? Are they able to use looting to good effect? We played like one league with Jund Delirium with looting. I think we 3-2'd. It seems okay. You know, it's kind of tough, and this is sort of why I'm maybe trying to like zero in on some decks at the moment. Because since the shakeup, I've built and played about 50 decks. And with the exception of like this deck and Jeskai looting, I haven't played more than like a league with most of them. I think I played 2 leagues with the Restore Balance Lancer Control deck. That deck was sick. Muxfield's loading, but I built and played about 50 decks, and so I do need to figure out, like, do I want to be spending more time just kind of zeroing back in on this stuff and hammering out like the best builds of these decks, or do I want to just keep working on new stuff? And there's maybe going to be like a little bit of a balance between the two in like the next week or so. I think Teamer might be better against the rest of the format, but worse in Drowsy Mirrors. Maybe, but the thing is, I also actually think Mono Blue and Magus Candelabra are also better against like the Dimir and Mardu meta, but I could also be wrong, like, of course. Maybe I probably shouldn't have to say that about everything, but it's true. I've been wrong before, and I'll be wrong again. Gotta keep the Chord, I think. Yeah, so like I'm either gonna play this deck or green white in a challenge tomorrow. I want to play 2 challenges this weekend, so maybe one of each. When you build decks in the shakeup period, are you trying to attack an unexpected meta or try to do the most inherently powerful thing? That's kind of the same thing actually. When you have an unexpected meta, the best thing to do is try to do inherently powerful things. And so I think that's kind of the same thing. But also when a new metagame shakeup, whatever happens like this, I'm also trying to maximize ideas, return to old ideas, just trying to build a bunch of stuff the best I can, so y'all can kind of take the ideas and start working on them too. Would you play more Cobras? As I'm not playing more Cobras, I would not play more Cobras. I think one has been feeling pretty correct. Have any modern paper tournaments coming up? So I think I'm going to be playing in. I'll be playing in the Hunter Burton in March. I'm skipping the RC, and I think I'll go to the Chicago SCG. I think I'm also going to skip the Chicago. I'm going to go to the Colorado SCG. I think I'm going to skip the Chicago Magic Con this year, because it's just like I can only do so much. I'm getting married this year. It's just so much. It's just so expensive to get married. Squee and Master of Death with looting unban. Usually Squee and Master of Death are worse than like Volchi's Daredevil and an Asmo Shell. Usually you want to play this kind of stuff in an Asmo Shell. Not really sure why you'd want to play those instead, but it could be something there. Elope. Well, we're too far committed. We have we're too deep in to elope at this point. I think it'll be good though, you know. Thanks, Solemn. I missed my win in today too at the SCG. Recommend this or Greenlight Ritual to envelop playstyle skill. I think either reasonable options. I think honestly the answer is whichever one you're more interested in. Okay, so they do no to exile the Nantuko. I would say maybe green-white is a deck that I have a little bit more confidence in. That's a sunk cost fallacy. You can elope. I wish I had. At the moment, I'm not wishing to elope, but I'll let you know. Is Nantuko plus Dryad plus 2 Cobras a combo we can use? It just doesn't seem that good of a combo or necessary when our current combos just are such high card quality. Okay, Wall of Roots. Okay, so we can go end of turn. Chord for another Risen Reef. Untap, play Nissa, and then I guess we'll see. It'd be kind of nice if this was Reef in hand and we could chord for Nissa instead. Maybe I guess it wouldn't be that different. Cast a Null Drifter. Also, I'm starting to think Null Drifter just sucks. I'm not completely off the card, but it's obvious. I think it's much better in Eldrazi than it is in Jeskai. I think you should definitely not be playing it in Jeskai. Can give Shroud. Maybe better to give Shroud to the Safekeeper. KL 9 months. Thank you. Welcome back. Appreciate you. The Null Drifter is only good when it's part of Ugin's lab enabler package. Yeah, I think so too. And even then, I'm just like not super happy with it. It's I don't know. I mean I like it maybe more in the mono blue Eldrazi because the deck's curve is just kind of lower. Be good 4 for 5. They'd be dead probably. I think they should do just dead anyways because I can green sun for Titania here. It's a lot easier if I top deck a fetch land. How many pianos do I have in my home? I have this one, and then I have one that we found on the curb and we put in the garage, and it had, all the cords were chewed up by rats, and it's not very functional. Yeah, we're not super deterministic here, but I think we got to go for it. I saw Dingo playing this yesterday, kept rolling Nissa into Nissa and hated it. Thought shaving some Nissas. I sincerely think Nissa is the best card in the deck. I would never cut any copies. Like Nissa into Nissa, you have a backup Nissa, and backup Nissa is pretty sick. And it's also like the Lotus Cobra is incredibly important. The landfall is just so important to combo. I would never cut any number of coffees under any circumstance. So yeah, in order for us to win the game this turn, we're going to need to find a Chord of Calling. And trying not to get all as dusted seems like a noble purpose. Every time we just hit a land, it's just a free 5/5. Okay. Could I explain the combo? I'm demonstrating it right now. So you get to sack a land, make a 5/3 elemental. This triggers Risen Reef to maybe put more lands into play. And so in these spots, a lot of times you want to have a Nissa or a Lotus Cobra in play so that you can make mana. And you can use that mana to cast a Craterhoof, green for Sun for Craterhoof, Chord for Craterhoof. In this spot, in order for us to win the game this turn, we need to draw one of our 3 remaining Chord of Callings before we run out of lands to sacrifice, so that we can get a Lotus Cobra or a Nissa and then make enough mana to go off. We also have Endurance in the deck, so if we run out of cards, if we run out of lands, we can shuffle those back in. Certainly have had a lot of looks at a Chord of Calling. There's the Lotus Cobra in our hand. We can still Chord of Calling for a Nissa. But yeah, we may just run out of lands here, and then should our opponent have an All Is Dust, we'll lose. We also have a land drop left. Okay, so I guess that's only now relevant because of the Lotus Cobra drawn, but now we'll want to put the land into our hand, cast the Cobra. I didn't realize we had. You're sure we had a land drop left? I'll scroll up. Yeah, I guess so, huh? The Endurance is still in the deck, yeah. Don't have that many lands left, maybe. Lag is getting us. That land doesn't work. Okay, so here's the Chord of Calling. Now, we've drawn the Craterhoof first, as we've been doing pretty often. So we just have to go in and get our Nissa. Now, we only have 3 lands in play, so... we're definitely not, like, a lock to get there. But if we can get another Risen Reef into play, that's when it starts to become a lot more deterministic. We maybe drew this a little too late. Okay, so now, in order for this... I guess I could chord for Endurance, and then that would let me Green Sun for Dryad Arbor. And that would also shuffle a lot of lands back in the deck, so I think that that's probably okay. Also, the Endurance triggers the... But because I've drawn the Lotus Cobra and the Craterhoof, I guess I guess just getting another... my last Reef is maybe better. Yeah, I guess the last Reef is just better. Because this just makes it so much more likely you hit a land off of each trigger. Last Risen Reef. You draw so many cards, not surprising you to hoof. Yeah. Then decking and lands aren't that big an issue. Yeah, it's not an issue because you just endurance yourself. It's a loop, and it's a very like unintuitive thing, but it's also cool that you just have a combo with like just so much card draw and ramp and high card quality. Like we don't have any Shukos in our deck. Maybe this is our Shuko. Yeah, still have the land drop. There's the Endurance, which is also double Reef trigger for 0 mana. You can just go ahead and do that. I've used both wall activations, I'm pretty sure. Okay, I guess I'll draw that. Maybe it's better to save it for a fetch land. Seems like I just gotta make decisions quickly. Maybe it is good for me to Green Sun for 1 now. Oh, there's a Chord of Calling. Okay, so let's just go and Chord for another Reef. Remember, we shuffled some Reefs back in just now. Oh, I should have also cast the other Cobra. It's okay. We're now just deterministic, and we don't really need to sweat so much. But yes, we should have played the Cobra. Okay, maybe deterministic is a little inaccurate. It's gonna be very hard to brick. Hope y'all did not sell your Nadu cards. Oof, there it is. Two 25/25 tramplers coming in. Why not make blue? Because I'm just gonna cast the hoof. I'm not gonna cast another Reef. You could, but I think it's a bit better to not time out. Playing the second paper would be really hard. I think if you're good at mental math, which is okay if you're not, but I think if you're like have fast mental math, you're probably gonna be okay. I don't think I'm gonna play any forces or like mana disruption. I think I boarded an Ouphe against them once and didn't really like that so much. I think I might actually trim a Green Sun. I think Chord is better against them than Green Sun. Although Green Sun is like turn 1 ramp, which is pretty important in this matchup. Eldrazi seems like an easy matchup. Yeah, we haven't lost to them yet. Despite the fact that they went K command into flashback K command and we just win anyways is like pretty good. I almost want to just 61 card them here. Yeah, I want all my turn 1 ramps, so that's why I don't want to cut the Green Sun. It's probably okay to trim a Chord. Yeah, I think with all the consigns brought in, trimming Chord makes sense. The land loop is actually way easier in this deck with Reef because you could choose to put Besage in your hand other than needling to draw from piles. Yeah, no, I agree that the Besage slash Otawara loop is something you can do. It's not something I can really consider doing on Magic Online, so consider it for paper. Yeah, we could cut another Nantuko. Yeah, the main change is I think Wall of Roots is better than Flare. It's close. But the Wall of Roots also help the energy matchup, which I think is a big tiebreaker in this close decision point. What do you think is the most underplayed pitch spell from all Modern Horizon sets currently in Modern? I don't know. I don't think I've got a satisfying answer for you, probably. All right, no blue mana, Craterhoof in hand. I'm going to send this one back. Is this deck actually lit more of a meme? It's been pretty good. We've 4-1'd our last 2 leagues. We're about to 4-1 again. The deck has been strong, consistent, fast, lots of card advantage, high card quality. I think that it's good. Unfortunately, at least we were the ones to discover it. All right, can I keep this one? What lands would you swap for Besage Otawara? Probably 2 fetchables. I'm starting to think that we can go down on the fetchables like 1 or 2. I'm like a little bit hesitant to do it still, but I think with the Flare of Cultivation's out, it's maybe okay. But I think on Magic Online I would maybe just play Simic Growth Chamber instead. Heads up, we're looking into lag issues right now. Viscon's going on. Yeah, no worries, Tor, but I'm sure it's a pain. Thanks for the update. The biggest reason Hoof is you can win without drawing your entire deck, which wasn't a thing for Nasus. Yeah, also, like, the thing with Hoof is I have won a lot of games just because games go kind of long, and I top deck a Green Sun Zenith, and I just go, like, Nissa, Fetchland, Craterhoof. And, like, when I don't have the resources to combo, it's been, like, weirdly nice to have. I don't get into the Grazers. Grazer's good in this deck. It's like, it taps for Chord of Calling, it blocks against energy early, it gives you landfall triggers sometimes on your combo turns. With the flares out, do we still need 26 lands? Yes. In fact, like, you would maybe play more lands, right? If you cut the flares. I've added 4 mana cards and Wall of Roots, but you want to have a ton of lands in your Risen Reef deck, of course. So my opponent is on a mold of 5. Cavern of Souls would be cute in the sideboard against control. Yeah, maybe. I feel like for me, Simic Growth Chamber would be the utility land I'd want. I've been saying with some. If you feel like you'd play a different one, it's fine. I don't think it's a huge deal either way. All right. Yeah, let me just go ahead and keep the Consign up for now. Kind of obvious that I have it with the Arbor, I suppose, not attacking. When did that happen? What replaced them? Yeah, we're playing Wall of Roots over Flare. Wall better with Chord of Calling. Wall also good to curve into Nissa. You go turn 2 Wall, activate Nissa fetch land on turn 3. It also blocks against energy, which I think is, for me, kind of the big thing. Why do you play Chained Rocks over Static Prison? Chain is better against Dimir. I would play 4 Static Prisons for sure, though. Nice. So I really want to be able to bestow and then trigger the landfall on the reef, so let's just go ahead and hold this forest, although it means I can't replicate a Consign. I think that that'll probably be okay against what my opponent's got going on. Yeah, I just have to Consign this anyways. If I can double bestow, maybe we could get the reef out of Kozilek's return range. Can someone explain how the Besage Otawara loops work? It's, if not for Magic Online, how would you run? You run 1 of each, and as you like endurance your deck over and over again, each time you do that, you can Besage you and Otawara once, which is going to just be enough to Besage you all of their lands, bounce all of their permanents, and have a board full huge 5/3s. And this will just win you the game. I'm kind of thankful I'm just a Magic Online gamer, because it's not really something I would be looking forward to getting into. All right, exile my reef, sadly, and then scry 4. Was Seed of Hope ever considered? No, we have we have a ton of good card selection. We have 4 Chord of Calling, 4 Green Sun Zenith. Nissa also digs for Reef. It's, you know, we need like random cantrip. Play Incubation Incongruity instead, probably. Okay, so let's go Bestow. Make a copy, which makes another landfall. Tempting. Tempting. I know people have been trying for you to play other win cons, but you really think Hoof is the best option. I haven't heard anyone mention Valakut Dryad. Would that be a good option? Yeah, I don't think it would be better than Hoof. It like, no, I don't think so. I really think Hoof is the best. I feel pretty confident about it. Would inspire me to create this masterpiece. I've been working on it for a long time. A long time. I guess I save this for Nissa maybe, because I can still just go. Make a copy, which triggers this again. Which I can just pay for again. Then attack for 2. Or attack for 3. It's kind of cool that Dryad gives you an extra land drop, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. Dryad Valak, it could be good too. I don't think it matters so much. For me, the fact that Hoof is like in this kind of board state, I could draw a Chord of Calling and get a Hoof, you know? Like there have been a lot of situations where Hoof is a card that wins me the game, where I would not have necessarily won the game playing a different card. They have another Kozilek's Command, get to flashback they return. Probably going to game 3. We get to be on the play for game 3, maybe. I'm gonna use the restroom, I think.
What's up? It's me, your friend Aspiring Spike. What's up? It's me, your friend Aspiring Spike. What's up? It's me, your friend Aspiring Spike. What's up? It's me, your friend Aspiring Spike.
Okay, kind of surprised a Utopia. Okay, they put 1 on the top, 4 on the bottom. Wait, they didn't flashback the return? Oh, it's only creature spells. I always forget that. I get confused with the Ugin's Binding. They'll probably cast a creature spell here, though. Yeah. Let's go to game 3. Okay, on the play. Get the calculator out. So I have 2 looks at a land here. Population size is 50. It'll be 52 after I fetch with a sample size of 2 of 24 lands because I'll be fetching a surveil land. I need to hit a land. 71% to hit. I think with this hand, this is just going to be a keep for me. Pretty close. Pretty close. Yeah, we'll probably play this in the challenge tomorrow. Right. Maybe I shouldn't have counted the Arbor. Do you make effort to retain that info? You mean like memorize the stats? Yeah, I tried to like have an idea of how likely you are to hit lands in these kind of spots. Stepping out of Consign does not feel great, but I think I got to play the Wall of Roots here. Do you feel like this gives you an edge worthwhile effort? Yeah, I think so. I think that like there's like a huge part of like improving your win percentage in competitive Magic is is the small decisions, the decisions that are very close, making the right decision when it's close. Like I think a lot of like good Magic players have become very good at making the clearly correct decisions, but when it's close, that separates the Reed Dukes and the aspiring Spikes, I think. And so that's something I'm trying to get better at is getting good at these like understanding the math behind these really close decisions and trying to retain some of this. I don't usually play 26 landers, so I have like less of an idea exactly on like what it looks like, but I'm a bit more comfortable in like the 18 to 22 land range. Devour, Microspawn Cavern. Fisher the 32, thank you, welcome back, appreciate you. Snow day. We didn't get any snow. The garden looks a little frosty. They do choose a Microspawn, and they have no land drop to hit. Or sorry, they have already hit their land drop. So I could go Lotus Cobra with Consign up. I could go just Consign up. I could just play the Reef. I think I'm just going to play the Reef. I guess I'm actually not supposed to put that into my hand and play it to bluff Chord of Calling. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. This is good though. Getting a land in play here. Fisher with the 32. Thank you. Welcome back. Need more Shark Typhoon to control to get 26 land reps in. You know what? I've been thinking a little bit more about the Typhoon deck. Oof. I've been thinking about it. Because like I really want to play Capricious Hellraiser again. Now that like looting is legal, especially. And like one of the best things to hit off it was always a Shark Typhoon because you could like cycle it. Probably just need to let that dream die. Thoughts on Change the Rocks as a plan for Frog for non-energy based aggro decks? What deck are we talking about? You playing Burn? Yes. Prowess, maybe. It just the answer is always like what deck are you playing? Yeah, Fetchland's probably the best draw. Is Soul Trader dead / cope? No, I don't think so. I've started a few times to build like a Faithless Looting, Unearth, Nightmare build of Soul Trader now post shakeup. I'll say that like specifically for that kind of build, like Rakdos graveyard focused decks, I'm trying to stay away from because Rakdos is so cold to graveyard hate. You just have such a hard time dealing with it with no like prismatic endings. You have very few like plan Bs a lot of the time too. So I'm trying to stay away from Rakdos based graveyard decks, which would kind of be that. Also, like Soul Trader for some reason is a deck that you would think maybe I would never get tired of playing. I have kind of just not loved how repetitive that deck can feel. Well, I guess let's play a Nissa. My plan is to, if they Emrakul, I'll consign the return, and I'll consign the Emrakul itself, and I'll just let them take an extra turn, because that might translate to me just getting to draw an extra card. Can I sell you in a deck that plays 4 1-mana draw 3s? And can regularly buy them back and plays Mox Opal. Alright, you've clickbaited me. I guess I could do all the modes, though, with the Wall of Roots. So we're going to cast this with Replicate. I think I want them to control my turn. Oh, no, because then they control. If they trade Microspawn for Nissa, I don't even care. I have a second Nissa. Like, yeah, we can do all 3, but like, there's a what cards could my opponent draw that like my Sylvan Safekeeper is dead, so they can't even like tutor Safekeeper and sack all my lands. I think I actually just want them to control my turn, so I can basically draw an extra card. Do you even need to consign the K return? I think so. If they kill this, they kill the second Nissa. Oh, they legend rule. Okay, so okay, they legend rule and then they attack. My opponent's like, you tank. It's lag. Lag is the reason. Now they can Shifting Woodland their Emrakul. I can go to 14. I guess maybe it's not so good because I can't crack a fetch anymore. Tough game. So I'm 1 mana shy of Green Sun for Titania. You just gotta put a Reef into play. Did you activate Wall of Roots to pay mana during a spell cast mode? Yeah, they have fixed the Wall of Roots bug, and is that the reason everything's laggy? Do they need to put it back? Maybe. Get Endurance? Yeah, I guess we have to get Endurance. I was kind of thinking that I needed to just go off, but Endurance probably does buy me a lot of time. It makes an Emrakul in their hand worse, potentially, and gets rid of the K return. Piano, 49 months, thank you. Consign continues to be a stupid card for only 1 mana. Honestly, I think we're very lucky they gave us Consign. I think Modern would be significantly worse without it. Okay, I've spent 1 more mana. There we go. Hopefully this is fixed by tomorrow. Could maybe do a Balacho stream, if not. Alright, get in there, Nissa. Plays a Talisman. Bid makes stuff. Good to see you, homie. Thank you for the 29 months. Kicks a Microspawn. You know, I've never played Minecraft, and I'm not that interested in getting into it, honestly. My time has passed for becoming a Minecraft YouTuber. Six, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Nice. Gotta play fast. I guess I have to get rid of the triggers here because they can cast an Emrakul that's stuck in their hand, and I don't have any more blue mana, so not the most ideal. I could have used the Wall of Roots on my turn and then sacrificed it this turn to get rid of the Microspawn. I think this was probably still better. Spike losing clock. Do I need a map? It's just Magic Online lag. This I take no blame in here. 2 cards in their hand. Looks like maybe one of them is a Kozilek's return. I feel like they would have maybe attacked with a Microspawn so they could get the Endurance off the field if it was. Plays a Talisman. Arise, ye Reef. If I see a fetch land, I need to put it in my hand, of course. If they have K Return as their last card, they'll cast it now. Okay. Sorry, I should have made mana off the Wall of Roots. Oops. We'll see if we get punished. We do not. I am going to put that in play. And we got to win the top deck battle. And the problem here is with the Magic Online lag, I'm going to have a hard time comboing off. We'll see what happens. Their top decks are also probably better than mine on average. Seems like they did not draw anything, which is good news. Neither did I, which is bad news. I'll play it out for blocks and for Chord of Calling. That'll probably do it. I think my top decks are better than average. It's kind of close, maybe. I did not have top deck them, it seems. Yeah, my fetch lands being good top decks, that is a good point. They get a liquid metal coating. Okay, good news that Tron players still just never get anything else. It's great news. Maybe they'll kill a land next turn. That'd be awesome. They didn't even coating a land here, which is equally good. We're definitely going to time out. The Virtuoso bug did get fixed, yeah. Maybe I could have stacked the triggers where I surveil after Nissa. I kind of feel like I want all my mana available to try to go off. The problem is lag is too bad. Was the lost lag's fault? Not earlier today, no. It's even worse than it was yesterday, which is surprising. I hit another Nissa. Let's go ahead and concede this one, I think.